Hi internet people. Because I was gone from my television set last Monday, this is actually a double Preacher recap, but because I watched them back to back, I should be able to cover this pretty quickly. In 2 weeks ago's episode, we had Dallas. So we got to see everything that happened 3 months after Dallas. So, Jessie confronts Tulip about her husband. He ties him up. Tulip thinks he's going to kill Victor. And then he makes her leave. She goes to Dennis's house where Cassidy is. She punches Cassidy in the face for telling Jessie what was going on. But she also brings Victor's daughter to the house to keep her safe because she doesn't know what's going on with Jessie. So we flip a lot into the past. So a lot of it is spent looking at Jessie and Tulip 3 months after she miscarried in Dallas. So after the bank robbery that went wrong, where Carlos double-crossed them, and then Tulip miscarries. I don't know if I can't remember if she got hit or if it's just stress and it just happens. So we're actually seeing what's going on. Tulip has a job at a realtor doing photocopies, making coffee stuff. Jessie is apparently a bartender, but really we just see him drinking all the time. And then when he's not drinking, he and Tulip are having baby making sex. So I don't know if you've ever seen that in a show before. Somehow I've seen a number of shows where couples have just solely we're trying to make baby sex where no one looks happy and everyone is just aggressively on top of each other. So that was going on. They keep checking pregnancy tests. They're never positive. So we get to see a lot of really cool sequences where it's the same routine over and over again, but it gets interspersed back and forth. It's really cool editing. Then Dennis, who was their boss, shows up, and she is expecting Tulip and Jessie to come back to the business. She thinks it's just a break. Jessie says they're not coming back after a strange meal called peanut butter pot roast. I don't know. She leaves. Then more time passes, and we learn that Jessie figures out that Tulip's actually been working for Dennis, and she hasn't been to the realty place, and that she's been taking birth control, so there's no way she could get pregnant. So he's pissed. The two of them get into a massive fight where he winds up beating up their, buddy? Roommate? I don't know what he is exactly. Beats the crap out of him. He says that he's gonna go back to the church, because it's still in his name, and Tulip is, doing errand stuff. We learn that she married Victor, and then she left Victor when Dennis found out where Carlos was. But she never told Victor that's why she left. That's why Victor was pissed. So we learn all of that. And we saw what broke up their relationship, and we see Victor taunting Jessie a lot. Cassidy talks to Jessie. Cassidy and Jessie get into a bit of a fight, and Cassidy kind of tells him it's okay to kill Victor. I would be angry and aggressive, and doesn't kill Victor. So there's that. Then Saint of Killers shows up at Victor's place because Jessie used the word all over that, everywhere. So that's where the Saint of Killers goes. He kills everybody except Victor's daughter, who actually says she'll take him to Jessie. Then we jump into the next episode. We see this dude taking soul extractions, which is so freaking weird. And they don't explain what it is, you just have to know. They explain it later in the episode, but they tweeted that it was soul service. So you figure it out, but it was so weird to watch. But the girl has led the Saint of Killers to the apartment complex, which doesn't lead the Saint directly to where Jessie, Tulip, and Cassidy and Dennis are. So Tulip is actually making pancakes that are remarkably sugary. Cassidy even jokes about diabetes taking its toll, or taking its time. They're also still talking about conspiracy theories and terrible television, all of this stuff. Then, at one point, Jessie gets up, checks the fridge, and there's a bullet in a yogurt. Because we've seen the Saint going crazy on people. They run, find out Fiora's dead, and that a cowboy killed him. So they know the Saint is on their tail. They go to do research, and we listen to, real tales of psychopaths. Which, that's not the voice that does that, but I want to know who's doing the voice of that tape book. Because I was who's doing this? Who is a British voice explaining the Saint of Killers. We saw a bunch of really cool different sort of illustrations for him and animation sequences and all this stuff, which is really awesome. There's been really cool editing going on this season. And they figure out that he doesn't have a soul. Jessie winds up making a deal with the Saint of Killers because he's actually going to kill Dennis, and then he convinces him not to by saying he'll get him into heaven. He's gotten someone into hell, he can get him into heaven. Problem is, Saint of Killers needs a soul. So Jessie goes on a soul hunting spree while the saint, holds Dennis, Tulip, and Cassidy captive, we learn that Dennis is actually Cassidy's kid, and I'm seriously wondering how he doesn't know French at this point. Did he once know French and just forgot it? Like, did he learn it in a drunken stupor or a drugged stupor and just can't remember he knows it? I feel like that has to be it. So that's what's going on there. No idea. That was crazy. I was not anticipating it at all. Jesse goes to a voodoo shop and like reveals his actual last name, or like his mother's last name, I think. And the guy's like, he's like, I don't have souls anymore. Like, he's trying to explain, like, I haven't sold souls. This guy took it over. None of us have been selling souls for years. And so Jesse tries to break into the soul van thing. He tries to blow it up as Tulip gives him a bomb explanation on the phone. Doesn't work. Nothing happens. He gets arrested. He convinces the cops to like let him into the truck where he confronts the guy. They're trying to weigh the bullet to figure out what soul can go inside the saint because it has to match like an organ. Back at Dennis's, Dennis is super sick. Tulip tries to get the saint to let Dennis go. The saint attacks her. Then Jesse is running friggin' late because he has to be back at 6. He's not back because nothing personal is matching, so none of the souls are matching the bullet. Eventually they figure out the preacher, like Jesse's soul, matches the bullet. Of course it does. So they have to extract 1%. That much you won't notice. That's the least you can do to give someone a soul. So he gives the 1% to the guy. They turn it into the thing that the saint has to take. But because the saint is very punctual, he attacks Tulip, is about to kill her with a sword, the saber thing. Cassidy jumps on it, loses all of his fingers. Jesse runs in, and then he's like, I have it, let them go. They're gonna take Dennis to the hospital. He gives the saint the soul. Turns out, the only reason Genesis didn't work on him is because he didn't have a soul. So as soon as he eats that soul pellet, he all of a sudden is like, just like down or drop it or whatever, get on your knees, all this stuff. He makes him completely disarm, and then he's like, send me to hell with your soul, bro. And then Jesse's like, we're going for a drive. They drive out to the swamp. He literally locks him in the back of the soul van and dumps it into the swamp, which totally makes sense if you've read the comics, weirdly enough, because okay, young Jesse Custer used to get locked in a coffin in the comics and dumped in a swamp. So I literally was like, oh, this makes sense in a terrible, horrible way. Oh, this is awful. So the saint isn't actually dead yet, I guess. He's just trapped in the soul van. I don't know. Like, it didn't break ever, but he'd eventually run out of oxygen. I don't know how that works for him. I don't know if he needs oxygen. I have no idea. So he's down there. Jesse has left him. He's buried all of the saint's stuff in the floor of the bathroom, so no one will know. And then Cassidy splurged and bought Dennis a ton of electronics, but he can't do anything because his fingers are growing back. So like they're hanging out. Jesse's there. So like that's all. Like all of that happened in 2 episodes. I feel like a lot of stuff like bled over between episodes, which was convenient with the saint. He was the carryover. Next week we're getting a ton of the Grail happening, which I'm really excited for because I'm interested to see the Grail in action. But there's really cool editing this season, like even more than last season. And I was not okay with Cassidy losing his fingers. It creeped me out. But like, it was intense. I hadn't even thought about the soul aspect being the reason that Genesis didn't work. Like, I just thought Genesis didn't work, like, because it's a Saint of Killers. But it was cool. We also got to see all of that awesome Saint of Killers stuff, which I thought was really interesting. I liked the research montage. I was a fan. Let me know what you're thinking of Preacher so far this season. It's getting, like, it's this mix of, like, super gory, and then some episodes are, like, not gory at all, really. Like, even this one was only a little gory. Like, there was gore, for sure, but not as much, and there was more, like, setup for the Saint, so we know some of him, but we got like more about the Saint. It was really cool. Anyway, let me know what you thought of this week's episode or last week's episode in the comments below or on Twitter. I am at Kleffnotes. You can find me on my blog, kleffnotes.wordpress.com, or for the Nerdy Girl Express, thenerdygirlexpress.com, and on their Snapchat, the Nerdy Girl EXP. Bye, internet people.